Arkane is famous for Dishonored and the upcoming Deathloop, exclusive to the PlayStation, and now known for being an Xbox game studio, working on new games for Xbox Exclusivity. One of the newest games coming from Arkane Austin is a multiplayer, competitive vampire hunting game called RedFall. A bunch of new information and screenshots just leaked, and RedFall is not what you thought. This is Colteastwood. Welcome back to the channel. Very recently, some leaked reports, screenshots, and information about the upcoming game from Arkane Austin Studios, RedFall. If you end up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new content. And let's see if RedFall looks any good. Arkane is working on RedFall, a vampire hunting cooperative game with an impressive, over-stylized, pre-rendered cinematic trailer that showcased at the Xbox and Bethesda event in spring of 2021. The game's visuals were represented outside of the usual cel-shaded, or better described, watercolor and motion art style that is usually seen in Arkane's work with Dishonored and Prey. Recently, a suite of screenshots directly from an alpha gameplay testing period was leaked online, with the game not due to release until summer of 2022. The cinematic trailer portrays RedFall as a linear map-based asymmetrical shooter, much like Left 4 Dead, but one tester describes RedFall as an open-world, hero-based looter shooter with 4-player co-op or solo gameplay with class-based characters, fast travel between areas, to your safe house, calling it very Borderlands-esque. The heroes, 4 in total, have very unique abilities and powers which are reminiscent of Dishonored, more like the addictive drive from Borderlands, leveling and finding gears, than the simple task of dispatching vampires from room to room like you would in a Left 4 Dead type game. RedFall is an open world, character building RPG to play alone or with friends. Each character has 2 active powers, or 3, as well as a weapon. The visuals in these screenshots show that the game overall looks like a conventional, semi-photorealistic first-person shooter with sharp visuals and lifelike texture work. But the standard FPS viewpoint and UI from virtually any game in this genre is off-putting at first, for those expecting something fresh from Arkane. But the testers claim that there is a full third-person mode, so you can see your character in action as you build, level, and outfit him or her. Story beats are played throughout the mission to drive a narrative about the plague of vampires in this small town setting, trapped in a curse that reads, "Vampires returning from hell with an evil brain will seek animated bodies of flesh, the cause of illness and witchcraft." RedFall takes on the morbid and evil Nosferatu fright of the living, bloodthirsty vampires and their beasts towering over the people, turning night into horror. But a colorful cast of characters with varied powers, weapons, and psychokinetic abilities draw from the very demons they fight will bring a feeling of power to your leveling character with light humor and dark comedy mixed with Arkane's pristine level of striking combat, witty writing, and next-generation visuals for the first time from this studio that provided hit games for the Xbox 360 and Xbox One generation. The game is in a closed playtest alpha with no access available this year to players outside of hired QA and QC teams within Arkane Austin. And the team has been completely silent on any RedFall information as they are readying to launch Deathloop on PS5 in the coming week. Similarities will be drawn from the upcoming Back 4 Blood, which is essentially created by the remaining team that made Left 4 Dead just a decade ago. Or fans will be writing off RedFall as another similar vampire multiplayer game coming soon, Masquerade Vampire Blood Hunt, which was shown at the Gamescom showcase and recently for the PlayStation showcase with little acclaim. These two multiplat games will pale in comparison to the scope and production values of Arkane Austin's RedFall, and from the description given by testers, RedFall will be a more robust, immersive and addictive, deep system-level action-adventure RPG with far more staying power. The studio director of Arkane Austin, Harvey Smith, explains the creative direction they are taking with games like RedFall and how they represent varied characters with the full backing of the Xbox Bethesda partnership.
The type of games that we work on, they're a blend of first-person shooter and RPG. Not fully one or the other, but there's something distinct, something in the middle. We love simulated elements, from the AI to the physics to the player's powers and movement abilities, and the way those things can interact in manners that we didn't even foresee. The environmental storytelling, the locations that we put so much love and lore into. So for us, being part of Xbox is very similar to when Arkane first joined with Bethesda. It was like, hey, here's a partner we trust, here's a partner who wants to make good games, and it's just like you can't do creative work unless you feel like somebody has your back, somebody's setting up the right environment for you.
RedFall is due to release in the summer of 2022, possibly targeting fall 2022, as game development typically needs more breathing room as teams assemble in studio and work partially from home. Looking at the screenshots and learning that the feel is Dishonored mixed with Borderlands is a promising outlook, especially knowing players can choose to play solo or with friends, and they can play in third person, and as that playstyle favors more fans right now, RedFall is a ways out, but rest assured we'll see more of this RPG-style Vampire Slayer at Xbox's next event. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Looking at those screenshots, I know everybody's going to say that doesn't look very crisp, or that doesn't look photorealistic at all. Now, I collected screenshots that were captured at 720p and I upscaled them in this video to my 4K format. So it's not doing them any favors. Also, I was told this is an alpha build from earlier this year that testers closed are playing right now. One of the big concerns that I have as a fan of games like this is that it looks like any other run-of-the-mill shooter. It looks like the Back 4 Blood demo that we played this summer. It looks a lot like that, and that had me a little bit worried until I read that it is an open world, more like a Borderlands RPG, which is really good. Something like Borderlands, a competitor, needs to come up, in my opinion. If you look at the pedigree of Arkane Studios and what they've made and how their games look, I fully expect with confidence that RedFall will look a lot better than what we're seeing right here. Of course, they have the cinematic trailer, which put off a lot of people, that it isn't true to real gameplay, but I think they'll have some surprises we'll see early next year. If you did enjoy this video and you learned a few things about the game and maybe piqued your interest, let me know by supporting the channel by liking and subscribing. If you're new here or you've been watching for a while and you haven't hit subscribe, take a second and do that. It shows support, the channel's growing, it's been a good time, and there's way more stuff to talk about this year. Also, I have X&C Podcast, a weekly show I do on Mondays, but I want to know what you think about RedFall. Were you excited before? Are you an Arkane fan? Or what you've seen today has given you a little bit of worry about what they will deliver next year? Let me know in the comment section. Try to be constructive. Remember, these developers are real people. They're working their hardest to give us a great game and give us their best. Arkane Austin has a great track record, and I'm also sorry that leaks like this, they really suck. They're difficult for a team that wants to show the game when it's ready. I wanted to explain what my take is on how RedFall is looking, so while you're in the comment section, please be nice.